It's that time of the year where everybody lists their bold predictions for the upcoming NFL season. Everybody likes being bold. It's fun going off the charts and trying to guess what sort of crazy shenanigans will happen. But who needs to make bold predictions? We already know how some parts of the season will play out. You don't need analysis. You don't need to read magazines. You don't need to watch NFL shows. You just need to listen to us. We're here to spoil some of the fun and tell you exactly what will happen in 2019. We don't know who will win the Super Bowl. We don't know who will win the MVP. We don't know what records will be broken. But there are 10 things we are absolutely 100% positive about. You'll thank us after the season for telling you this. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we present the 10 most obvious predictions for the 2019 season. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. And if you have any ideas for cool videos, let us know down in the comment section. You never know, we might use one and give you a shout out. Number 10, Julio leads NFL in receiving, but barely finds the end zone. Julio Jones has been the NFL's best wide receiver of the 2010s, and is coming off of a year in which he led the NFL in receiving yards. Jones finished with 1,677 yards in 2018, but the man simply couldn't find the end zone. How strange is that? Jones didn't record a single touchdown reception through the first 7 weeks. He finished with 8 touchdowns on the season. Not sure if you noticed this, but Jones has only recorded double-digit TDs once in his career. That was in his 2012 sophomore year, where he finished with 10. Don't forget he somehow had just 3 touchdowns in 2017 as well. Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown are the main threats for Jones's receiving crown. OBJ has to share reps with Jarvis Landry, while Brown is going from Ben Roethlisberger to Derek Carr. So yeah, here's our first obvious prediction. Jones leads the NFL in receiving, but as usual, he'll struggle to find the end zone. Expect around 7 TDs for the season. Number 9, Kirk Cousins remains NFL's most overpaid QB. The Minnesota Vikings handed Kirk Cousins a 3-year contract worth $84 million in the 2018 offseason, but it was a disaster in year 1. Cousins did the usual, lose every primetime contest, and the Vikings only defeated one team with a winning record in 2018. They couldn't even beat the Chicago Bears in a game that determined their playoff fates. And Chicago was playing its backup players for large portions of that game. Cousins did complete 70.1% of his passes for 4,298 yards and 30 touchdowns against 10 picks. But again, he was awful against the top-tier clubs. The only big move the Vikings made on offense was drafting lineman Garrett Bradbury in the first round. That was a great pickup, but Bradbury alone isn't going to make Cousins elite. Look for Cousins to keep on losing the primetime contest as he continues the dishonor of being the NFL's most overpaid quarterback. Number 8, Cleveland Browns and their playoff drought. This feels weird to write. The Browns showed plenty of promise in 2018, with Baker Mayfield setting a rookie QB record with 27 touchdown passes. Myles Garrett is now in the class of elite pass rushers. Denzel Ward was a stud lockdown corner. Nick Chubb powered the ground game. Jarvis Landry had a strong first year in Cleveland. And yeesh, these guys haven't even hit their primes yet. The Browns only got better. John Dorsey traded for Pro Bowl wideout Odell Beckham Jr., giving the Cleveland Browns the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Mayfield looks poised to reach superstardom here in the sophomore year. He's got too many weapons to work with. The MVP race could easily come down to him and Patrick Mahomes. Ward and Garrett will power a defense that signed run-stopping machine Sheldon Richardson while drafting another slick corner in Greedy Williams. The Browns are among the most talented teams in the NFL with too much star power on both sides. Yeah, we predict their playoff drought ends here. The Browns will qualify for the first time since 2002, and they just might win their first playoff game since 1994. The future, for once, is bright for Cleveland's football team. Number 7, Texans go one and done, but Bill O'Brien stays. Bill O'Brien has led the Houston Texans to 3 AFC South Division titles through his first 5 years on the job. He only has 1 playoff victory, and that was against the Connor Cook-led Oakland Raiders. 1 playoff win in 5 years is enough to satisfy the McNair family ownership, however. The Texans fired general manager Brian Gaine after 1 season, simply because he and O'Brien had a power struggle. Okay then. All Gaine did was take a last-place team and turn them into a division winner. Anyhow, here's a pretty obvious prediction. The Texans will qualify for the postseason and get blown out of the wild card round. O'Brien will be completely outcoached once again, and yet O'Brien will keep his job. He'll probably have more years added to the 4-year extension he signed in 2018 too. There's also a 50% chance that Houston will fire their GM after 1 year. Rinse and repeat in Houston as J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins have another prime year wasted. Number 6, John Gruden trades a star player. In his first year as head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Jon Gruden traded away generational pass rusher Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears and young Pro Bowl wideout Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys. Well, you may as well pencil in Gruden, Mike Mayock, and the Raiders for another blockbuster trade this season. Gruden has valued draft picks over proven young stars. We'll see if that works out. Who could he deal in 2019? There are so many options. If Derek Carr struggles, would Gruden be able to find a taker for the former Pro Bowler? May Gruden give up quickly on Antonio Brown and send him elsewhere? Heck, it would be so Gruden-like to trade one of his rookies, perhaps Josh Jacobs or Jonathan Abram, for another first-rounder. Lots of options on the table, but it's a done deal. Gruden will trade another big-named player during the season. It's just what Jon Gruden does. Number 5, FITZMAGIC starts hot, ends cold. Career journeyman Ryan Fitzpatrick finds a new home. He earns a starting job, he tears it up for a few weeks, and then he goes on the bench. Seriously, it happens all the time. Ask the Buffalo Bills. Remember that $59 million contract they gave him in 2011 after a 3-0 start, only to get released a year later? Or his hot start with the Houston Texans in 2014, only to get traded to the New York Jets after one season? Then there was last season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3 straight 400-yard games to start the season with a total of 11 touchdown passes. Then he lost the starting job to Jameis Winston. Then he got it back. Then he lost it again. Well, Fitzpatrick has landed with the Miami Dolphins now. We don't know who will start week 1 between him and Josh Rosen. Here's what we do know. Fitzpatrick will have multiple 300-yard games with 3 or more touchdown passes. Then FitzMagic will run out and Rosen will take over for the rest of the season. So, fantasy football players, take Fitzpatrick whenever he's named the starter because you're getting 3 good games out of him. Then get rid of him. Number 4, Cincinnati Bengals finished last in AFC North. Well, the Bengals finally fired Marvin Lewis after 16 years on the job. The man didn't lead them to a single postseason victory over that span, so no, we'll never understand how or why he got all those chances. Credit to ownership for finally realizing that annual non-playoff winning seasons are unacceptable. That said, the Bengals are a virtual lock to finish last in the AFC North this year, because as we touched base on, the Browns are guaranteed to make the playoffs this season. The Baltimore Ravens look ready to take another step with the league's best defense and flashy dual-threat quarterback Lamar Jackson. No way the Bengals come close to toppling the Ravens in the standings. And even though the Pittsburgh Steelers lost Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, you can never count them out with Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger at the helm. At worst, this is an 8 or 9 win team. The Bengals might go winless in the AFC North. 1-5 or 2-4 would be best-case scenarios in those games. But with a roster full of holes and little talent, this club will be in the running for the first overall pick. Expect this team to finish last in the AFC North for a second straight year. Number 3, Eli Manning era ends in New York. It took them long enough, but the New York Giants are finally getting ready to move on from Eli Manning. The 2-time Super Bowl champion and possible future Hall of Famer is way past his prime, and it's amazing enough that the G-men have held on to him for this long. Well, this is unquestionably Manning's final season with the Giants, and perhaps his last in the NFL. The Giants drafted his successor, Daniel Jones, with the number 6 pick this year. It won't be long before Jones slots in as a starter. Maybe Jones will take over as a starter in the first few weeks. Maybe it'll be mid-season or near the very end. At any rate, this is going to be Eli's final year with the Giants as they start to move towards the Daniel Jones era. This has been a pretty good run for Eli. 2 Super Bowls is nothing to scoff at. He deserves to go out on a better note, but that's not how it will play out. After another disastrous season, the Giants will bid farewell to number 10. Number 2, New England Patriots win the AFC East. There's already a 50% chance that the Patriots win the Super Bowl and an 80% chance they win the AFC. So that means they only have a 100% chance of winning their division. Since their Super Bowl winning season in 2001, the New England Patriots have only failed to win the AFC East twice, in 2002 and 2008, with the latter being when Tom Brady tore his ACL in Week 1 and missed the entire season. There are 2 reasons why the Patriots are locked to win the AFC every year. For starters, they're just the greatest at everything in the world. It's that simple. Even if you put them in a division with 3 elite teams, the Patriots will probably find a way to win it for 10 straight years. Secondly, the Patriots also happen to play in perhaps the worst division of football. Though we expect the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets to improve, both are looking at wildcard spots at best. Neither of them are ready to take down the Patriots. The Miami Dolphins are in rebuilding mode and won't be relevant for at least 2 or 3 years. Maybe they'll get their annual home victory against the Patriots, but this club isn't anywhere close to competing for the division crown. A ton would have to go right for the Bills or Jets to win the AFC East, unless Josh Allen or Sam Darnold want to become Patrick Mahomes-esque. The 2 New York-based clubs will simply be challenging for second in the AFC East. This is the Patriots division for at least another year. They'll win it by at least 3 games. Now, what on earth could be a more obvious prediction than the Patriots winning dynasty, winning another division title? At number 1, Jason Garrett doesn't get fired. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones fired Jimmy Johnson, who only led the team to a pair of Super Bowl championships in the 90s. But he's been ultra loyal to Jason the Clapper Garrett, who has been the head coach of America's team since mid-2010, when he took over for Wade Phillips. Through 8.5 seasons, Garrett compiled a 77-59 record. He's only led Dallas to the playoffs 3 times, recording a meh 2-3 record. He somehow kept his job after coaching Dallas to 3 straight 8-8 seasons from 2011 to 13, almost a decade into Garrett's tenure as head coach of the Cowboys. He doesn't have a whole lot to show for it. But who cares? Jones has continually voiced his support for Garrett and has proclaimed him as the guy who can lead Dallas to a Super Bowl. Garrett's projected reaction to those comments? Garrett isn't a bad coach by any means, but you just think that Jones would make a change after 9 years of mediocrity. Whether it's 0-16, 1-15, 8-8, 10-6, or 16-0, Garrett promises to retain his job after the 2019 season. In fact, we expect another contract extension for him. Congrats to Garrett for most certainly keeping his job in 2020. What are some other obvious predictions for the 2019 season? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time on TPS.